Hello everybody, welcome back to High Ground. My name is Tanner, and today we're going to be going over the final day of Swiss at the Montreal Major for Rainbow Six Siege. Only 3 best of 3s to talk about today, but you wouldn't really know it because all 3 of them were done in only 2 maps, and in fact, the final match of the day was supposed to begin at 6 p.m. Eastern. Instead, we were done at around 5:45 Eastern, so that just tells you how quick these matches ended up going. Could have seen 9 maps, and instead we only saw 6 maps on the day. I think these were all the expected results, although I don't think they were expected to be as one-sided in each case as they ended up being. So first up, Chiefs versus Virtus.Pro, 7-2, 7-0, absolute slaughter, an exact mirror of what we saw between Soniqs and G2 earlier in Swiss. That was a 7-0, 7-2. This one is a 7-2, 7-0. So Chiefs go out kind of sad. All of their wins against APAC teams, and they got kind of slaughtered multiple times. They got 7-0'd multiple times, once by Virtus.Pro, once by Falcons. They got 7-2'd here. They got 7-3'd here. They got 7-4'd again by Falcons in phase 1. Yeah, just a lot of beatdowns against them. Fortunate, I suppose, that they got paired against some of the teams that they did get paired against that took them to the final round of Swiss. I think if they'd had a different path, they might not have got here, but still some wins under their belt. Nonetheless, the 2 MVPs of this matchup, Joystick and Pasha, and yeah, Virtus.Pro, one of the teams that I think was definitely underrated coming into the event, and we'll see what they do in top 8. I think they have the stuff to make a pretty solid run, even continuing in top 8. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. Black Dragons up against SpaceStation. SpaceStation has finally bucked the trend of going at least 12 rounds in every single map that they played. They went 14 rounds against FaZe and against Soniqs. They went 12 rounds in all 3 maps against Dark Zero. They went 12 rounds against Virtus.Pro here, and the first map against Black Dragons, they do go 7-5, but second map, yeah, only 11 rounds played, 7-4 victory. They close it out. Maybe that's an omen of good things to come, winning a little bit more decisively than all of their other wins. Benjamaster and J9O, the 2 MVPs here. Benjamaster was really fantastic in particular, getting over 20 kills in the first map, and I think 9 of those in the first 2 rounds. He got an ace round 1, and I think a 4K round 2. So great stuff from him, really heating up. He's had a pretty lukewarm tournament thus far, but if he can continue that performance into the top 8, SpaceStation could be a force to be reckoned with. And then finally, Soniqs up against Liquid, 7-4, 7-3, so not competitive really. Liquid only getting 7 rounds to Soniqs 14 rounds, and it did feel like Liquid probably shouldn't have let slip some of the rounds that they did end up losing. There was one in particular where Rexon just waltzes in, the bomb is being planted, he just shotguns one guy, turns and shotguns the other guy that he didn't see for a minute, and then they just win the round on time. Rexon, the MVP of that first map, Grixer, the MVP of the second map, so going back to that classic Sonic duo there. And yeah, Liquid, they just didn't put up the performance that people thought. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to beat W7M here, beat Secret here, and then maybe beat Soniqs here, but I think the writing was sort of on the wall by the time they got to Soniqs. When they won the first map versus Secret, it seemed like, they'll just win Border or Bank, they'll move on, but then they got crushed twice, 7-1, 7-2, and then they get a 7-3 and a 7-4. Soniqs, in the last 6 maps that they played, they got all 6 possible regulation scorelines. They got a 7-0 versus G2, they got a 7-1 versus Elevate, they got a 7-3 and a 7-4 versus Liquid, all 6 of them, which is pretty funny. That's probably the first time that's ever happened, but I don't know if you somehow know that that's happened before. Please let me know. Let's take a look at the top 8 that's now set up. FaZe versus Soniqs, BDS versus Secret, W7M versus SpaceStation, and Falcons up against Virtus.Pro. The upper side of this bracket certainly looks like the more fearsome half, but who knows? Maybe one of the 4 teams on the bottom here will emerge the victor of the major. FaZe Clan, BDS, they were 2 of the favorites coming into the event, perhaps the single 2 favorites. Soniqs, another one of the favorites, and then Secret, maybe not one of the absolute favorites, but probably the second favorite, at least from Europe. W7M, I think, doing a lot better than people expected, but I said that I thought people were underrating them. I didn't predict them at 3-0, but I wasn't really surprised to see them go 3-0. I thought they were a very solid team that, again, wasn't getting the recognition they deserved. SpaceStation, we'll see. I hope they can at least make top 4, i.e. beat W7M. I think that's a bit of a tall task. I don't even know the last time SpaceStation got a top 4. As far as the way that the bracket turned out, I mean, some people might be like, why is it set up this way? Why are all the strong teams on the top and then the less strong teams on average on the bottom? And I think it just makes sense setting up the bracket this way. FaZe Clan are the 1st seed, Soniqs are the 8th seed, BDS are the 4th seed, Secret are the 5th seed. So I think having all of them on the same side of the bracket makes sense. And then this is number 2 versus number 7, and number 3 versus number 6. That makes sense to me. If that doesn't make sense to you, I guess, make your case below. But this is an organically made bracket. Technically, I think they got to choose which team was on the same side as FaZe and Soniqs, and the same thing for all the other teams, but I feel like the order they came up with made the most sense. I won't necessarily do predictions here. Probably I'll do a prediction video tomorrow. It actually releases. So originally this said like 5 hours still until you could vote, but I think I'll do a video on this tomorrow. I don't think I want to go over this just yet, right? We still have, we have plenty of time, so video on that tomorrow. I think FaZe is maybe somewhat the favorites, but Soniqs have been killer in their last 3 games. BDS certainly the favorite here. This is actually a rematch of a Manchester quarterfinal in which BDS 2-0'd Secret, so definitely BDS the favorite there. W7M versus SpaceStation. W7M certainly the favorite there. And then Falcons are the higher seed, but I think Virtus.Pro is the favorite. Falcons, maybe they will continue to defy expectations. We'll just have to see. And finally, let's go take a look at SI standings, because we now know all 16 teams that are qualifying for SI via points. There are still 4 LCQ spots up for grabs. So going down the line, I'll just read them out. BDS, FaZe, Secret, Beast Coast, Liquid, Dark Zero, SpaceStation, Falcons, M80, W7M, Furia, Soniqs, Scars, Virtus.Pro, Bleed, and Talon. NA has by far the most representatives at 5. We have Beast Coast, Dark Zero, SpaceStation, M80, and Soniqs. Europe only has 3 with Secret, BDS, and Virtus.Pro. And I guess by far wasn't technically correct. They have 1 more, North America does, than Brazil, because Brazil has Furia, W7M, Liquid, and FaZe, and then that's, I think, 12 of the slots, and the final 4 go to 1 for Korea, 1 for Asia, 1 for Japan, and 1 for MENA in Falcons. A few teams just missed out. I guess Game and Gladiators, the biggest victim of that. Talon and Bleed had the tiebreaker over them. That's just the way things panned out. Had the games gone a little bit different today, like maybe Soniqs lost and or Virtus.Pro lost, things could have still been up in the air a little bit, but because both of those teams won, everything is secured. And I guess we can look really quick. Did end up with 9 points as I thought, 5 for phase 1, 9 for phase number 2. Got FaZe Clan, Secret, and SpaceStation in the correct brackets, and then also predicted correctly BDS, W7M, and Soniqs advancing, just not in the correct brackets. That makes it impossible to get to the Alpha Pack. There's only, I think, 7 points available. You can only get up to 21, need 25 for that Battle Pass. If you know anybody who ends up getting the Battle Pass off this, kudos to them. I think that was extremely difficult. It's just the nature of the format, especially Swiss, like making all those predictions at the beginning for what's going to happen after 5 rounds is really tough. And does it actually say how many points are available? Yeah, correct winner, 1 point each. So only 7 points available here, as was always expected. And all right, I think that's going to do it for me. I will catch you guys tomorrow for a prediction video. Until next time.